All right. All right. Welcome, everybody. It's exciting to see everyone here. I'm actually excited to introduce you to our team that is going to be working with you this summer. As I know you're getting tons of emails from me about getting ready, getting stuff in. But in a few weeks or a month, I'm going to pass you over to the staff that you're going to meet today, and you're going to get a chance to hear from them. I'm going to start off, letting them talk, and then you'll leave some time at the end for you to ask questions. Um, Before I introduce you to the staff, so because just we have a limited time, um, I really want this to maximize this for your information. So, the PST staff or our full-time staff, we really want to utilize them while we have them here. So any questions around like enrollment, praxis test, or transcripts or things that of that nature that are on your enrollment task or emails that I've sent out, just email me and we can set up a different time. But I really want this time for you to hear from the staff and then get a chance to formulate questions to ask to them because these are people that you're going to be with for a long time. During the summer, they're going to be the faces that you see for a good portion of July, if not all of July. All right, so with that said, I am going to introduce you to our staff. So, our full-time staff, these are the people that are on our staff that are here year-round. You'll see them once you start your residency. Obviously, I've been working with most of you as a program manager. I am in charge of enrollment, in charge of the certification pathways for you guys, and helping people get hired. And so you'll continue to hear from me over the next month. Johari Toe, who will be on this call in a little bit, is our director. So she oversees the whole program and some other Baltimore initiatives as well. But the key folks that we're going to focus on today, you'll see Shanita Pryor. She is our senior manager, but she is also our PST director. Um, and she is not only alumna of the program, she has worked in Baltimore City for a number of years, but she's also directed PST for a number of years and has a wealth of knowledge and is really going to be able to give you the vision for PST this year as she is working with her team to do that. And then we have Brittany Grimaldi, who is an effective coach doing a year, but she's also been in PST leadership and also has done some co-leadership of PST and has taught in Baltimore City and has gone through the program as well. And then Zani or Zanya or Zani, we like to call her. She is our newest coach. I don't think you've been with us a year now, almost. Zani had, even though she's our newest coach, she has a long history with us as a leadership team in BCTR. She has worked as a special ed educator in Baltimore City effectively and was not a Baltimore City resident, but she worked in a fellows program or went through a fellows program, I believe, in DC. So this is our team that is our full time. We do have some folks. Oh, and Johari just popped on. So Johari is our director. Some of you may have seen Johari from my hiring video, but Johari is all of our supervisors, and she is our BCTR captain and points us in the right direction. And so, in addition to this, there's a huge staff that works PST, and that's our seasonal staff. This is made of BCTR alum that are teaching in Baltimore City or other folks that have an extensive teaching background. Uh, Shanita and her team has finished doing training with them this week. I think yesterday was the last day for training, and so maybe she'll talk about that. But I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, and then so you can see faces. But if Shanita and Shanita, if you can just say hi and then kind of introduce the other staff that may be on the call.
Thanks, Sean. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here tonight to meet you virtually and can't wait to see you very soon. We have an amazing PST staff that have come and some members that have come to stop by to say hello to you as well. Wow, this is a lot of people on this screen. So I see Adam, I see Eden. I also see Chastity, who is also a part of our full-time team as well. Who else do I see? I see Ivy. Ivy is on the call. Say hey. Janae is on the call. Any other seasonal staff here with us? I am looking through. I love that it's taken me a while to look through all the many faces. Right now, that's all I see. But we again collectively are super excited to begin this journey with you. Courtney actually is coming in. Courtney is one of our managers for the summer. But we are again extremely excited. I'm going to throw it back to you, Sean. Thanks, Courtney, for joining us. Courtney's here too. All right, back to you, Sean.
Great. So I'm going to start this off just asking a couple questions to the general staff. And I know some of these things will be fresh in your mind because you just finished training. But one of the things I think people usually ask me when I talk to them on welcome calls, a lot of different things, but a general question is like, how will PST prepare us for the classroom? I know there's some anxiety for folks that have never been in education before and they worry about getting a position. And I always tell them, hey, we've worked with Baltimore City for the past 20 years. They know if you come through this program that you're going to be prepared. And, I really tout our training and our experience and our relationship with Baltimore City. But in terms of like the detail of how does PST prepare you? What does that mean? What can our folks expect to really build that skill for them to start this fall? And if you want to start, Shanita, or if you want to pass it on to one of your staff, that would be great.
Of course, I'm gonna pass it to a staff member. You know how I roll, Sean. I'm gonna let another expert answer for that and start us off. I did see in the chat that we pre-service training. Thank you, Eden. See, Eden is already on it. So Eden, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to you. Go ahead, Eden, and start us off.
Hello, everyone. Um, Let me know if you can't hear me. It should all be working. Perfect. So the question was around how does it prepare them for the fall, correct?
Yeah, for their teaching time.
Perfect. So I went through the program 2 years ago now, which feels wild to say. But what's really nice about it is you get a holistic approach and look at teaching, as well as you get a lot of targeted time to practice specific skills that will best benefit you when you go into the classroom in the fall. So there are a few different things you focus on. We do curriculum and like helping you figure out how lesson planning works and what that looks like so that you feel prepared and confident when you step into the classroom. And we also focus a large part on figuring out classroom management skills and how to build that kind of classroom environment that you will feel comfortable in and that your students will feel comfortable in. And so there's a whole lot that goes into that, but I feel like those are the two main things. Obviously, I could go more if y'all want, but I'm someone who talks for a long time, so I'm going to cut myself off there.
Thanks, Eden. Anyone else on the team want to expand on that?
I'll jump in. Hi, everybody. I'm Zani. I will be a field experience manager this summer. And yeah, I think that I went through the program in DC and back in 2013. And I stand by this program. It definitely prepares you for what we call a fast start. So there are so many parts of teaching, but what we do is we equip you to get better fast. So we do lots of practice, we give lots of feedback, we have a lot of fun. We create simulated teaching experiences. You all will learn the culture and the way we do things, but really we just really just build a teacher and prepare you in a short amount of time for to have a successful quick start to jumping with kids in August. So we, like I said, we have a lot of fun, but we give you a lot of tools that we call in your teacher toolkit that if anything arises, we hope that we have done a great job preparing you for anything that you might encounter. Interactions with students, parents, families, etc. So we're just, again, we're super excited to see you all in person and just prepare you for a wonderful school year in Baltimore City.
Thanks, Lonnie. I'm going to ask another question, PST related. Another thing, as I'm working with folks now to get all their stuff done in terms of like getting their enrollment stuff done, another thing that's coming up for folks is how to prepare for the summer experience. So I know in my welcome calls, I talk a lot about like it's like a boot camp for teachers. You're going to be with us, these certain hours a days. You're going to run drills. You're going to have practical teaching time. You're going to have coaching and feedback. But what can residents do to prepare for the experience? I always have a hard time trying to get across what the experience is for people. I know one of the things that always happens to me is like I try to tell people it's a really rigorous experience. 2 weeks in the PST, and there's Sean. Why didn't you tell us how crazy this is? And so I would love for the rest of the staff to try to give that experience as well as folks that are really in the process and hopefully give some kind of visual of like what the experience is like, but how to prepare for it.
I was just waiting for my unmute button because I love this question. I also came through the program years ago now, and am a proud returner every year. I love PST, and a lot of the seasonal staff and Shanita and Zani also love PST. We look forward to it every time it comes back around. What I'll say is, and I know people are going to want to add on to this, we try to structure PST in a way that it is preparing you for what the life of a teacher feels like on a day to day. And so, in order to prepare yourself for PST, you're also preparing yourself for life as a teacher and the school year. And so, anything you need to do to get your ducks in a row before July 1st, I highly encourage you to do that, right? So if you need to go to the MVA, if you need to go see the dentist, if you need to get childcare in order, like those are all things you should be thinking about because we just don't have time for too much personal time during PST. We are going to captivate you Monday through Friday for most of the day, to put it in a very positive and light and lively framing. But we're also going to expect that you invest in yourself and your development in the evening, right? Because that, and the early mornings, because that is what teaching is all about, the preparation and the practice and the growth piece. And so getting prepared to get yourself in a position where you can make PST and becoming a teacher your primary focus is what we highly recommend because we're going to expect that of you from the moment you step foot in our space on July 1st. And then popcorn to whomever else is. Can't wait to get off mute and share.
Me, this is my question too. I love this question. I will just say I echo everything that Brittany has shared. I too went through the program many years ago, many moons ago, as the old folks say. And I will say that the best thing I could have done was communicate to my family and friends that this is a very important time for me in my life. It is important that you communicate and you do not shut your family out of this experience. It's going to feel very, as Brittany said, strenuous, stressful, and all of the things. And you may not be the same person that you are during these 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks, as you will be now, or as you were now, or are now, and will be thereafter. And so, from the time PST begins, really until after your first year, it is time for you to communicate with your family that this is an important time for me and it's going to take a lot from me and a lot out of me. And so not shutting them out and not sharing what's happening will be a detriment to the support system and the village that you will need during this time. So it's important to share that, hey, I may not be as patient during this time. Hey, I may be more tired during this time. Hey, I can't go to that party or to that event. I may have to cut out a little early because I have lesson planning to do. Even for your family that lives in the home with you, sharing these times with your family is extremely important because they feel a part of your journey, even though they may not be able to understand everything that you're going through. Just again, communicating explicitly what's happening with you during this time will help prepare you. And the last thing I will leave you with is slow down to speed up. It's going to feel fast in the grand scheme of things, but all the training that you are receiving is a part of that slowing up so that when you become a tenured teacher, when you become a second year teacher, you can speed up a little faster. But without this beginning and building this foundation, those days thereafter will not come and will not be successful. We are giving you the tools for PST, beyond PST, life beyond even a classroom teacher. So take those skills, take whatever the wisdom that you receive from this program to allow you to speed up and to become what you will become thereafter, PST in your first year of teaching.
I'm going to add something to that, and then someone can jump in afterwards. I know one of the things that people that come in and that I hear from as they start PST is that it feels like Shanita said, like, this is hard. This is really a lot, but they truly are preparing you for your first year as a teacher of record. That first year is going to make PST feel like it was just the beginning. And so a lot of what they're going to train you in and a lot of the pace that things are going to come at you, it is really to prepare you for that same kind of lifestyle as a teacher. It really is like you're taking on a new lifestyle when you join a school community, when you join a community of teachers and educators. And so I did want to point that out. And the other thing, like I say, for the enrollment stuff that we're doing, communication is absolutely key. There may be some things that you don't understand or need help on. Don't suffer in silence. Like, you have to speak up. You have a wealth of people here that can help you navigate most things that you may be feeling or going through or they have gone through themselves. Um, and before I move to my next question, anyone else want to talk about focus on how to be successful this summer?
I can add something. Hi, everyone. I'm Adam. I'm one of the seasonal staff for PST, and I already put this in the chat, but just wanted to call out to be very ready for a new experience. PST is something unlike anything else, even kind of unlike teaching in some odd ways. And I'll just really echo what Shanita says. Like, it does change you. I came through the program 3 years ago, and I came out, I'd like to say, a better version of myself. I was more open to new things. I was definitely much more prepared, but I also just felt more confident because PSC really challenges you to be more confident and to take charge of your own learning and your own skills. And even working for them every summer, I feel like I come out knowing more and growing more because I'm making the choice to do so. So just being ready to feel uncomfortable, but to kind of live in that moment and be okay with it.
Cool. All right. So one more question, and I think I said this a little bit earlier. So what should people focus on to be, Shanita's laughing. So what should people focus on to be successful this summer? Like, what are some things that are going to help them uh, be able to make it through successfully with PST and to be a strong teacher for this fall?
Brittany and I, Zani and I are looking at each other. Implement feedback. Implement feedback. Listen to us and trust us. We are here for you. We are here to build you to be, as Adam said, a better version of you. And we've had the great opportunity to see Adam, Eden, Courtney, from beginning to their present, their present selves, and to watch them grow and evolve has been just a beautiful experience. But they had to trust us to get there. So trusting us and trusting the program that you signed up for, that we are not going to tell you things that are not for your own good and for the good of your career, and more so for the good of students. We have a very student-centered mindset, and that what we share with you are what we found to be best for students. That does not mean we know everything and that we are not ourselves still constantly learning as coaches, as leaders, and in this profession. But our experience, our training, our everything is for the betterment of you. So trust us and implement the feedback in which we give you. As parents have told us, or as other leaders, if you do like I tell you to do. And so that is something, keep that mindset of if you just try it and do it. We are also open that if a particular thing does not work for you or does not work for your students, we can go back to the table and talk about those things. But the core, those who are successful in this program, implement the feedback 100% and consistently.
Yeah, I'm going to build on that really quickly. And you absolutely said some of the things I was going to say. So cheers to you, Shanita. But just to echo what Shanita said, starting off with just trust the process, right? I know Shanita was talking about trust us, trust the feedback we're giving you, but trust the process. There are some things that we notice about folks who really thrive with our model and thrive in the classroom in the schools where we work, and folks who struggle or decide to do something else, right? So first, folks who trust the process. The second thing we talk about a lot is grit, or just like the will to make it happen and implement feedback and do the things, right? And not give up. And the other thing is the determination to persevere through hard things. There's a reason why not everyone is a teacher. There's a reason why not everyone ends up being a teacher for a long time, right? It does require a level of grit and determination that some other career choices don't, or many others don't. And so once you make this commitment to yourself and to us and to the students of Baltimore City, you are going to do your best if you trust the process, you have the will to make it happen and to implement feedback, and if you have the determination to persevere through hard things.
All right. All right. So if there's not any other stuff that has anything they want to add to that, I'm going to open it up to our 2024 cohort to ask questions of staff about the summer training. So, like I said at the top, if you have questions about enrollment, hiring, things of that nature, please email me and I can set up a time to talk to you about those things. But we really want to keep those questions and utilize the staff that we have here and their knowledge to talk about this summer training or teaching or preparing for those things. That is the expertise we have right now on the line. I really want us to be able to utilize that. And I see Julie, you have your hand raised, so you get to go first.
All right, what an honor. So I'm Julie Sutton. It shows Nimzura on the screen, but I'm enrolled as Julie Sutton. My understanding is that this is essentially a summer school program for some Baltimore City students that are going to be our right, like students or simulated students for the PST. Can you tell us a little bit more about the student population that will be coming in and that we'll be working with over the summer? And would you say that's reflective of the student population in the normal school year? Or are we talking like remedial students? What ages? Just kind of curious about the like context for like the students coming in.
Awesome. Hi, Julie. So we'll have two opportunities for you to develop instructionally through teaching experiences over the summer. The first one will be what we call a simulated teaching experience. So you will have opportunities to plan, prepare, and execute lessons in front of your peers to receive feedback and engage in like a reflective cycle and try again, right? So you'll do those lessons in kind of like a protected lab-like experience with your peers and your coaches over the summer. The other piece will be an internship model where you will be placed in a Baltimore City public school that is running a summer program with Baltimore City students. So depending on your grade level and subject, you will get placed as close to your certification as possible. So we will have both primary and secondary opportunities. The programs will differ slightly from school to school, but most programs are focused on preparing students for the year ahead. Not necessarily like remedial or anything specific around that. I don't know, Shinda, you want to build on to that, but it's not credit recovery in the secondary. It's more like enrichment for the year to come. And I'm the word that I'm trying to find. As you can see, I'm fishing for it in my brain. I can't find it, but like accelerating student learning over the summer. Acceleration is what I was looking for. So the way our day will be shaped, awesome. The way our day will be shaped is you will spend a significant amount of time at those schools, generally during the first half of the day throughout the week. And then you'll come with us, hang out with us in the afternoon for your learning. And that's when we'll do those simulated learning experiences as well.
Okay, practical question. Does that mean then a lot of the month of July will be commuting to our respective schools and not to the Highlandtown school? And like when we report at 7:30 a.m., like are we talking about going to a different to a couple different locations, like the main training at like at Highlandtown and then somewhere else?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's been a few years since we've had such a good question about popping from site to site. So yes, so you'll report most days and you'll get this beautiful calendar that we work so hard on every year to make sure it's like very detailed. But most days you'll start your day at your field experience site and then you'll transition. We give you a transition kind of lunch transition time over to Highlandtown thereafter. On your very first day, you will absolutely report to Highlandtown and you'll get more details from there. For folks who are thinking about public transit and things like that, we have had a lot of exciting experience in the past with folks carpooling from sites. So if you get yourself to your field experience site, there's generally a carpool of your cohort mates headed to Highlandtown in the afternoon if anybody's thinking about challenges with a car.
Great. And it also sounds like there will be multiple, I'm just getting all the logistics questions out of the way. It sounds like there will be multiple people at the selected field experience sites. Does that sound right? Or will there be some people who are alone at their field experience site?
You are not alone. Yeah, so you will at least have a couple of buddies at your sites. The numbers will depend on what placements are available and where the need is, school to school. But yes, you will not be alone at your sites. And yes, Julie, you're asking all the questions that people are thinking of. So good work.
I wanted to jump in. There was a question in the chat from, I think it was Erica, about can she work or can she complete field experience at her school? I guess that you were hired at Erica, and I wanted to call out that all Baltimore City schools in the district are not offering summer programming. And some of them we are, they might partner with another program. So we do have specific schools that we are working with. So if you want to send an email to maybe Sean Nix. I'm not sure if you want to find out like if the school that you're working in offers summer programming, we can see, but there is a specific number of schools that are offering summer programming this summer. So that may not be feasible, or it might.
Also, too, I read that as for the summer for their fall placement. If that's the case, just email me the best times to or days times to call you, and I'll give you a call and we can talk through that specifically.
I have a question. Are we still taking questions?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. I'm Akil McDaniel. My question is, do we need any materials for this summer training? Like as far as for ourselves or for sites or anything like that, just to kind of be ahead of the game?
I will say a laptop for summer training is required. iPads are not as program friendly, just for, lack of better
All
terminology.
right.
So yeah, so while, iPads are the thing, I have a 15-year-old and I don't think she could live her life without her iPad. But laptops are what we use for the program because of lesson planning and things of that nature. So definitely a working laptop with a charger is definitely needed for our program experience. When it comes to any supplies for your internship, because you are in an intern position, the teacher of record will have supplies. The school programming for the summer will have supplies there for their students. Like if you're anything like we are, you may buy candy for your students, or you may buy little small gifts for them or things like that, or treats for them. That is totally voluntary, but not a mandatory part of the program at all. But what is mandatory definitely is that laptop for your session experience and your lesson planning experience.
Okay, thank you, Shanita.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Brian. I had a question about the evenings and the weekends. Are there, during the summer training program, are there a lot of assignments? Should we just kind of try to keep our evening and weekends clear to complete different assignments and stuff?
Go ahead, Adam. Adam is shaking his head.
Oh yeah, I'm over here nodding my head. Yes, so we do have things like text assignments, lesson plan assignments. And Shanita and Brittany can correct me if I'm wrong, but towards more like middle towards end, but full lesson plan assignments. Um, there are a good amount of moving pieces that you just want to make sure that you're blocking out that time for. Like, it's not like we want to say, don't live your life, but just make sure that you have time for whatever you may need, because um, a big part of the program is making sure that we help you develop the skills to fully lesson plan. So the lesson planning rubric and the lesson planning template can be, it can definitely take up a good bit of time to make sure you are hitting all of the things that the curriculum really wants, and to make sure that you are prepared to deliver the best instruction. Um, so I would definitely recommend, I know I blocked out all my time. Like, I still had time. I was able to go hang out with people. I was able to go do things. Like, I didn't just live in PST, but I blocked out the time in case I needed it.
Thank you.
I did see a parking question in the chat. Parking is available at Highlandtown. I will say that parking can be challenging because we're in a neighborhood. And so just giving those a heads up in terms of just parking, you have to get a little creative with parking, but there is parking available. We will be walking, the pounds away and walking some cardio, in all those things. So just you may have to walk a little far. So, I always say if I park far, I'm walking my pounds away. So just keep that in mind when you are looking for parking, or when you are faced with parking. You may have to walk a little far, but there is parking available. There is not a school parking lot. All parking is street parking for Highlandtown. Depending on where your field experience will be. There are parking lots that are designated for schools, but Highlandtown itself has street parking only.
Yeah, thank you for answering that question. That parking question was my question, because I drove by the school and I saw only street parking there. But I have a couple more questions actually, and one is to do with, like, we have like a block of 1 month from July 1st to August 1st, which is completely for PST. Apart from that, do you need any time commitment during the summer vacation? Like, I was thinking of like planning some vacation time, but that's my main question. I understand that the school starts like like third week of August, schools start in the city. So
Yes, I will say that the first week of August, there is a new teacher institute, if I am correct. I don't know the dates offhand, but I know it is a few days in the first week of August. If someone knows more detail, you can let me know.
It is the first week.
Okay.
Okay. And my second question was actually, so is there a dress code like for this? Like for being in the school, is there a dress code that you recommend, or is
We have a dress code of smart casual. During orientation, we will go over the dress code, what smart casual is and what smart casual is not. But it's like a different version, I guess, of business casual. Now we are going by smart casual. So there we will go over those things and during orientation as far as what it is and what it's not.
thanks,
Um,
Shanita.
And I did want to just add on to the question around taking vacations this summer. If you are going to take any time, I highly recommend that you take it prior to PST versus thinking about taking it after. There will be some downtime in August, but with PST finishing up with new teacher, summer, Nessie, new educator, summer institute, and your professional development at your school and things that we have going on with BCTR, August is going to feel very busy. So just I would check in with us prior to scheduling anything in August because there are a lot of important dates in August.
Yeah, I was thinking of between August 11th and August 19th. I'm not sure. Like I'll get in touch about that. Thank you.
I don't see any other hands up or any questions in the chat. Feel free to come up mute if you have a question for us. Oh, Esther, you can go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I have questions regarding to the hiring. Do we start the look for doing the job applications now, or do we wait wait for a little bit? Because I was trying to find some positions online, and I see that they have on the Baltimore City site. However, they said that when I was trying to find it, they said I was unable to apply for positions. I was just curious.
Yes, I'm going to drop in the chat. I did a hiring session back in March. I'm going to drop the link for it in the chat. And SAU, if you can review it and the PDF, it has a lot of that information in. And then if you have questions, just email and we can set up a time to talk through the specifics of it.
Thank you.
Everybody see the link for the hiring information? Awesome.
Okay. Oh, if no one else has a question, when I first signed up, I was talking to Sean, I guess, and the idea was English. My background is social science. But then over time, it's become more appealing to at least understand what that special education piece involves and how to get involved in special education. So is that something I have to make up my mind now on if I want to pursue special education, or is that something I can kind of take my time and do the PST and meet some people and talk to people about that as an option?
I'll start, and then I think Zani might be able to answer the next part of your question. So you do need to come up with it as soon as possible because you do need whatever you land on, you have to have that test completed before PST, and we're running out of time to get Praxis test completed. So that's the first part of it. And I know that Elizabeth has been emailing folks about getting their registration into her so that we can track where people are with testing. So testing is going to be the defining factor of the speed. And so I would say as soon as possible, if you want, we can have a conversation one-on-one with that. But as far as like what special ed involves, I think, Zani, if you want to handle that and kind of talk through what it is and how it's evolved. I know I get this question a lot, and I know I can give a general overview, but it might be helpful to a lot of folks to hear.
Yeah, sure. So special education, so it sounds like if you want to do English, um, like what Sean is saying, we're not going to dually certify. So you would have to choose a track. If you were to choose special education, you would go through a certification process to be a special educator. I mean, I do work with the special educators in our program. And if, there are special educators, like if you wanted to teach high school, well, no, not in our program. So our program mainly does do special educators for primary. So you would be able to be in classrooms with students, with general educators, teachers who teach content like in, ELA, English and Language Arts, math, and things like that. But you would be the special educator in the classroom. Thank you. So it's from grades 1 to 6. You would be the special educator in the classroom. So you would be specifically trained to support students with disabilities. So if you're interested in that track, definitely we can have a conversation. You can have a conversation with Sean, but that you would have to make a decision. There's also the idea of if you wanted to become dually certified, you could get certified in English first and then go back, take the praxis, and get dually certified to be a special educator as well. I know a lot of people who are dually certified and they have 2 licenses. So in that vein, they can get a job teaching general education, but also as a special educator. So it is a great idea and a great option. But I can definitely, like I said, if you have any more questions, you can send me a message via Zoom and I can follow up with you. I'm not sure if I answered your question.
I mean, that for me, because I came from university teaching, um, special education makes the most sense with where universities are at in terms of we basically have historically failed to help students who struggle with learning disabilities and other types of, physical and mental challenges. And I was overseas, so I didn't have all the support and all the, let's say, built-in institutional knowledge on how to support those students. And I felt like that was a really difficult situation to try and support a student without that background. So one thing I might want to do is just have a conversation more about its value as part of a dual certification. I don't think I'd just do it by itself. I do English first, I think. Julie?
Can I comment on that? I think that there might be uh, another suggestion if you're concerned about the prevalence of learning disabilities. Tobin, I was told by a veteran teacher that even if I'm going into like 7 to 12, grade 7 to 12 English, it's still a good idea to read up on students with milder disabilities that wouldn't be in special education per se, but would be in the general classroom. Because I have been told that there's a higher and higher percentage of students diagnosed with like ADHD, and they would be in the general classroom, right? But or somewhere, somewhere on the spectrum, but kind of like not really in the special education classes. I don't know if other teachers want to weigh in on that and like just say that should we all be doing that even if we're not doing special ed like as a specialty?
Yeah,
I will say, yeah, I'm going to add one thing in here. I know we as a staff try to give that information out, not only to special ed teacher, but just all of our residents in general. And so that's part of the summer training and some of the training that you're going to get during your first year, even though you may not be a special ed teacher. But I did want to move along things. I know Amy had a question, and I wanted to be able to get to her and so a couple other people before we run out of time.
Thank you, Sean, and thank you for sharing the hiring process. That was also one of my questions. I don't want to assume just based on the name of the program, but I just wanted to clarify that when it comes to like remaining within the guidelines, that we should be applying to teaching positions for city public schools and not county, correct?
That is correct. Yep.
Okay.
And if you go through that PDF and video, the application stuff, we talk, both Johari and I and Rhonda from the district talk a lot about the information that you can and cannot do, basically.
Absolutely. And then one more question in regards to, I know we're talking a lot about PST right now, but once the year starts, what does it look like managing a teaching position and also continuing with this program successfully?
It's a great question. I know in my welcome calls, I talk about that your first year with us, you're going to have some coursework. We call it TNTP Academy, and you're going to be assigned a coach, which is going to work more like a mentor or your point person for teaching. And then in your second year, you won't have a coach, but you'll have some coursework that is asynchronous coursework that you'll work with an instructor on. The coursework during the school year, it's either right now for last year, it's been half in person, half synchronous online. But that's a general overview, and to see if anyone on our staff have a little more meat that they want to put on that.
Yeah, I'll jump in really quickly. So we get feedback every year that it is a big lift for folks, right? Because it does feel like you're kind of in a graduate program while also experiencing your first year of teaching. So don't want to sugarcoat it and say that it's not a big commitment. However, having gone through it and having administered it over the last several years, I do think it's a very manageable lift if you are an organized and determined person, right? And if you're not, if you build those tools in place to make you that way or to help you become that way. Starting in the fall, you'll have a weekly commitment with us, and it's kind of a rotating series of learning that you'll experience in a hybrid fashion. So sometimes we'll be in person, sometimes we'll be online. Associated with that, there will be readings, just like there are during the summer, and there will be follow-up assignments to complete throughout the year. Additionally, we'll engage in coaching cycles where our full-time coaches will pop into your room, work with you, give you feedback and next steps, and sometimes come in to formally evaluate you as well. So it's a little bit of a balancing act, but we always encourage folks to keep in mind that we are your certifying agency. We are here to make sure and endorse your ability to be certified. And so we're making sure that you hit all the benchmarks you're supposed to be hitting in order to endorse your certification. But the first year is the most intense with that TNTP Academy on a weekly basis.
And thank you for that. And just thank you for this opportunity. Appreciate y'all.
Sure. I know we have time for maybe 2 or maybe 3 short more questions as we're winding down. It's great seeing everyone, and I do want to try to get any more questions around our summer training that people may have while we have the staff here to talk about it. And if we answered all your questions, that's great. We're doing our job.
Sean, I'm
Brittany.
just going to say something that's going to feel very like tangential, but it matters. If you're not somebody who currently packs a lunch, start practicing. Pack your lunches, lunch packing all through the summer. Bring snacks. Have a plan. It's long days. It's not always going to be guaranteed that there's something within reach. So start practicing packing lunches.
Excellent. While we're at it, I am going to put in Julian, I see your hand up. We'll get back to you in a second. Put a plug in. If you haven't registered for the orientation, please do so. I think the last email I sent about key updates for on Monday or Tuesday, I sent it. There's a link to register for orientation. That is mandatory. It's June 18th, 5 to 8. Yeah, it's a mandatory time. It is virtual though. So our folks that are, planning their move here, it should be a little bit easier for you to participate. But other than that, also continue to, I know there's a lot of emails from me and Elizabeth coming at you, but we are pushing because we want you to be prepared with all the technical part of starting so that we can pass you to Shanita and her team so that all that stuff you don't have to worry about. You can just focus on being a great teacher. All right, Julie, what was your question?
No, I was just reacting and praising Brittany for mentioning packing lunch. Thank you for the logistics as someone who's often thinking about food.
Gabriella, do you have a question?
Yes. I watched and looked at the PDF for the hiring information.
Mhm.
Last week, I think I fully completed my application. I just need to get like my final official scores from the praxis. But anyway, I remember during the presentation you mentioned that like there was no clear way to know that we were already in the portal. Like we might just start seeing emails from like the school. Am I gonna know like when I'm being looked at?
So you will probably know before we know, but there is a way. So if you email me, I can contact them or they contact us and let us know who's in. But usually what happens is you usually know before we do. But if you want, I can tell you exactly where you're in. If you let me know, that you completed your application. The district a couple times a week gives us updates on our folks. And then for some of you, you've probably gotten emails from Elizabeth about, hey, you didn't do this thing. Go ahead and do this. And so you'll know that it's not done because you'll get an email from her. But if you really want to know kind of up to date, you can just email me and I'll shoot you back an email about where you're at. And if there's something you need to do.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, Mr. Nix. I was going to ask the same question because I'm kind of curious myself also.
Same thing. Just email me and I can let you know where you're at.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I think that is going to do it for us. Joe Hari, as our director, do you want to say anything to our incoming cohort or to your staff about the summer coming up?
I want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to Shanita and Brittany and the team, our full-time and our seasonal people who work very, very hard behind the scenes to put together an intentional summer experience that is going to cause a lot of you all to grow and to kind of wrestle around with some things that you feel like you knew, but it's going to kind of challenge some things. But our work is intentional. The team's work is intentional. And I want to say thank you for that. I want to say thank you to everyone who's on the call. It's like, I'm going to take this leap of faith and want to walk into this space where you're about to serve children that you've never met before and communities that you may or may never have been in before, but with the intentionality of wanting to change and make life better for other people. So I want to say thank you. Please take heed to everything that was shared. And if you start to get anxious, don't worry about it. That just means you're in the right place and you just need to kind of think through, how do you challenge yourself to change? So thank you. Have a wonderful evening. And Sean, I'll pass it back to you.
Great. All right. Like I said, anything that is hiring related, enrollment related, transcripts, all those things, please email me. I try to get back to people as soon as possible. I also have, you may get emails from Elizabeth Barr. She has also helped me with resumes. She's the one that actually reviewing all your resumes and your transcripts. So we're a small team, but we do try to move pretty quick. Also, other than that, I think that is it. I did mention about the orientation. And then outside of that, again, look at emails. For those of you that are previous federal workers or current federal workers, I know there was a survey that I've sent out over the past couple of weeks in our key updates. It would be super helpful for us for you to just give us some information. It helps us really understand and how to understand who our cohort is, but also may help just the cohort in general. Other than that, I thank everyone for coming out. This call, I hopefully will get a recording out to everyone by Tuesday. So other than that, I want to thank everyone for being on. I do want to thank our full-time staff and our seasonal staff for being on and answering questions. And all of you are much appreciated. Thanks. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.